Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, in this video I'm going to be showing you a new experimental build, this time for Switch Axe. Now, it's been a long time since I've done a Switch Axe build. Actually, I think it's been since before Iceborne, honestly. I think it was when the Kia Paralysis Switch Axe came out, was the last time I did a Switch Axe build. So, it's been a hot minute, but I do want to say that this is just an experimental build. This is not meant to be the next best thing. It's just me slapping together some perks, you know, just a concept. It's just the concept, basically, and just seeing how it does. So I will be showing two builds in this video. Basically, one is raw damage. It's just, let's pump out as much damage as possible, kind of, with the gimmick perk of the build, which is Frostcraft, as you've seen in the title, and you can see it in the top left, and you've seen it in the thumbnail, whatever. But the other build is more of a safer option. It gives you a lot more skills to work with, and the skills are overall better. It's just the weapon itself is worse, and ultimately does less damage. So, with that being said, let's get into this. Okay, so the first weapon we're going to be covering is the Fatalis Switch Axe, True Fatalis End. So, basically this is just the damage one. It's honestly very, very difficult to build this. I struggled immensely, I'm not gonna lie. I am very new to zero-sum discharge spam. I'm very new to the playstyle. I've never made a build for it before. I've never used it before. Like I said, the last time I made a Switch Axe build was before Iceborne, and admittedly, that was the last time I used Switch Axe, so it's been a while. But with that being said, the build is pretty much the same as all the other Fatalis ones, just we have Power Prolonger in here. So, covering augmentations first, it's the same as all the other Fatalis weapons. Affinity, defense, health. Even with this much affinity, I don't get 100%. So, you gotta get what you can get, right? You gotta just put in as much as possible, anywhere you can. So, starting off, Crit Eye. Crit Eye 7 is a mandatory perk with a weapon like this. It does get us to 20% with... well, that's it. It gets us to 20%. It's the only thing actually giving us raw crit here. So, yeah, there's that. Grip Boost, mandatory, because, you know, 40% damage on crits is extremely good. It's literally... actually, I think this is the most used perk now. I think Crit Boost is hands down the most used perk in the game. So, of course, we gotta have it. Weakness Exploit, of course, that gets us to 90% crit, because you saw here I actually have 40%. That will get us to 90%, and then Agitator will get us to 100%, which is actually really nice. But that is only possible with Maximum Might, which I guess I said Crow is the only thing giving me raw crit. Technically Maximum Might is, but not in this menu, only when I'm standing around and have 100% stamina, which is pretty much always going to be the case when we're on the side of a monster, which is really nice. And then we have Power Prolonger, which is mandatory for this kind of build. Since we are just spamming zero-sum discharge, we want that to last as long as possible. And of course, with this, we get a few bonus perks. We get Health Boost, we get Tool Specialist, which is mandatory for this build. Unfortunately, this build only manages Tool Specialist 3, because we have to dump everything into Velkhana Divinity, since we aren't using a Safi weapon yet. And yeah, the rest of the perks in here pretty much just on the gear. I wasn't sure what kind of gear I should use. I wasn't sure which Fatalis piece to use. I wasn't sure if I should just not use a Fatalis piece and use something else that gave me good skills. It was really hard to make this. It's been a while. It's the first time in a long while I've made a Switch Axe build, so I just kind of tried to copy all the other Fatalis builds and just throw in the essentials like Tool Specialist, Power Prolonger, you know, and just kind of roll with it. Seems pretty good. I wasn't sure if Focus was going to be any use to me doing zero-sum discharges, so I just decided to run with the old Velkhana piece, just so I'd get flinch free, which is a bit nice for multiplayer play, right? So there's that. And yeah, then we obviously have Rocksteady and Temporal, and I stuck attack in here because it's just nice to get a little bit extra attack. So, that's the build out of the way. Damage. It's good. It is good. Frostcraft is difficult to make work, I won't lie, but you can make it work. And it is good. So, yeah, it's just... I think maybe the older zero-sum discharge builds, or like the ones that everyone's using now, minus Frostcraft, are probably better. But I think it is still good. So, anyway, of course, getting into this, we want to power up our weapon here. So we'll only take a moment. There we go. Right. This is untenderized, so I guess this is the untenderized damage test. Fresh out the box. We do just over 2,000, which is pretty good. Let's get Frostcraft back. You can do this in many ways. You can either run around the monster for a bit, get Frostcraft, or you could get like halfway up the bar and then... How did I not tenderize? I guess this doesn't tenderize, right? I'm stupid. Yeah, so you could like do you could run around the monster for a little bit like this, get about half the bar, and then hop on. And by the time you get on and get ready to do it, you'll have all the bars that you need. And it does some good damage. You can see it's doing some good damage. Let's tenderize this real quick, just because why not? Let's see how much tenderizing damage does. I don't think it increases it by that much, because of the nature of the build. We're doing like 2.2k, and now we do 2.1k. Okay, that's not that different. So yeah, I guess it's just whatever works. That's the Fatalis build out of the way. It does good damage, 2,000, like over 2,000 for a whole zero-sum discharge is pretty good, I'd say. But yeah, this build kind of gets cucked by the fact that the weapon requires so much crit. And because you also don't have Tool Specialist Expert, you don't have Agitator Expert, or Secret even, not Expert. So, yeah. Now, on to the next build. We have a Safi weapon instead. The reason why we have a Safi weapon for this one is because it allows us to get Velkhana Divinity in the weapon itself, which opens up an extra slot and grants us Inheritance. Now, Inheritance ultimately gives us access to Tool Specialist level 5 and Agitator level 7, which means more crit, more attack, and our mantles last longer, which is very, very beneficial for this build. Because we opened up that, we also get a few different pieces. Well, actually, it's just a single different piece, I guess. And a few more better slots. And also overall better perks. Since the chest piece in the last build was completely useless, right? It was just there for slots and to get Frostcraft. However, now we have a more useful chest piece in this, which has better slots and better skills. So we just have better skills overall, really. It's just stacked to the brim. So, getting into this build, since this one is a little bit more informatic than the last one, we have our awakened abilities, Velkhana Divinity, of course, because we want to get Frostcraft and have Inheritance alongside it. I put 3 attack in here because I wasn't sure if stats would be good. I am using a Paralysis Switch Axe. This is just the only one I have on me right now that has Velkhana Divinity. I'm very low on Dracolite, and Safi isn't here right now, so I've got to use what I got, basically. And then I went Sharpness, just because this build does drain quite a chunk of Sharpness in the long run. So I figured just having Sharpness would be nice, since this doesn't have much Sharpness without it. But I guess if you wanted to, you could probably go attack and just hope for the best. We are using Power File, because I'm pretty sure that's the best for getting KOs. So, you know, that's always nice. Augmentations, we've got attack, we've got health. Pretty no-brainer augmentations there. We do not need affinity for this one, because we actually have more than enough. There's a lot of opportunities here to switch out skills as well, because we do have more crit than we really need. But we'll get into that. So, starting off, Cry 7, mandatory, basically. You have to have it. This having crit ice 7 does get us pretty close to what we need. We actually have 45% crit with that, which is really good. So yeah, like that's already arguably enough. You could settle with that and just have Agitator clean it up. Me being me, of course, I just like having 100% crit pretty much permanently. So I actually did go with 1 maximum might just to have 55% crit. Since that's plus 10, I can't really change that. So yeah, it goes to 55, which is more than I need, and obviously Agitator will bring that to 70%, which is more than I need. But I just like having 100% crit pretty much permanently. You could change this, you can get rid of this. You could honestly get rid of a expert in here as well, and just rely on Agitator. But that's completely up to you. This is just what I prefer. So another added perk is safe landing. I put this in because with a build like this, the nature of the build, you have a really high chance of getting knocked around a lot, especially if you don't have your mantles up when you need them. So safe landing just brings you back in the fight easier, it gives you super fast recovery time, and that's very beneficial for a weapon and a build such as this. So this can be changed as well if you want. Maybe you want to put another slot 2 in here, you know, maybe you'd want, I don't know, maybe you'd want a protective polish and just remove the awakened ability up there for sharpness, right? You could do that. That's a viable option. You could definitely do that, but I just prefer to put safe landing in here and have sharpness. And of course we have Tool Specialist 5 now, so obviously I put some extra Tool Specialists in here that we weren't able to get before. And yeah, overall it just has more skills, it has better perks, it is a better build overall, it's just the weapon itself is worse, which makes the build overall worse. So yeah, I should mention we also have recovery up free, which is perfect for this kind of build because it gives you so much health back, and the zero-sum discharge already gives you so much health back, so you'll have peak performance up pretty much permanently, which is super nice. And that's it, everything else is the same as the other build, so not much to say about that. Okay, so damage. We were doing just a little over 2k last time. Let's see how much we do this time. Of course, I will wait for the damage to disappear on the screen before I do this. So, let's see how that goes. Okay. Let's wait for that to disappear real quick. And let's get into this. So, untenderized. We do 1800. That's not bad, considering how weak the weapon is compared to the other weapon. So honestly, I'm quite happy with that damage. That was with full Frostcraft, so I will wait for Frostcraft again, just to keep it fair. Here we go. And let's see how much damage we do this time. Assuming we have full Frostcraft, that is. Almost 2k. That's pretty good. That is rivaling the Fatalis weapon. It's just obviously weaker because the weapon itself is weaker. So yeah, like I said, you can run around the monster for a bit, you know, get set up. Just basically try and get the bar to 4. So like the 4th charge as much as possible before you actually zero sum. If you don't want to do that, you could probably get it to where it is right now, and you'd still be fine. You'd increase your damage enough for it to work. I mean, look, I still did 1800 there, and I only had a half a bar. So, yeah, it works. The builds are good. Obviously, as mentioned earlier, this is just an experimental build. It's not meant to be insane. It's not meant to be the next best thing. It's just me putting together an idea and seeing how it works in practice. So, this video has gone on long enough, so I'm not sure if I'll have a hunt at the end of this one. So, with that being said, let me know what you think of the build. Let me know if there are major ways of improving it, because I'm sure there are. But please keep in mind that we are trying to keep Frostcraft in the build. Obviously, the way to make this better would be just removing Frostcraft. But the idea is that we try to make Frostcraft work with things that it normally wouldn't do, and basically make them good. So, yeah, at least that's the idea with this build. Not every build has Frostcraft, so, you know. But yeah, let me know what you think of the build. Let me know if it could be improved in any major way. And with that being said, thanks for watching, and adios.